Leadoff Man is brought to you by your Dodge dealers. Come see our great product lineup and the nice Dodge dealers who sell it.
Well, here in Wrigleyville, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. The sun's shining brightly. It's a little bit chilly, but baseball fans filing into Wrigley Field today for the resumption of the Crosstown Classic here in Chicago. The Cubs and the White Sox this afternoon on WGN. Hi again, everybody. Dan Roan at Wrigley Field. Nice to have you with us for the leadoff man this afternoon as we get set for the Classic here. The Cubs and the White Sox in their annual exhibition game. As you know, it's been a one-sided series since it resumed some 10 years ago. The White Sox have won 8, lost none, and tied 1. So the Cubs, who've had some trouble in the regular season so far this year, try to get on the board in this series as well, taking on the White Sox today. As usual, a lot of minor league players will see action in this game, including one in particular, number 45 on the White Sox side. You'll hear from him as he talked with Harry Carey a little bit later on in the show. Right now, let's check out the highlights from yesterday's ball games and tell you how the
fulfillment of a boyhood dream that he used to remember. His dad was up here in the booth last summer telling us about how Michael used to play ball as a little kid with him. His dad would throw the ball to him, and then he got a bat for him. He was only 4 or 5 years old. He'd swing the bat around. All he talked about was Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, those kind of ball players. And someday, of course, he wanted to be a major league ball player. Little did he dream then, and little did we dream then either, that someday he would be the greatest basketball player in the game's history. He retired at age 31 with more money than even Midas ever had. And here he is now trying to fulfill the boyhood dream of being a major league ball player.
Well, the story today, even though there's a lot of great players on that field, the story is Michael Jordan. There's going to be a lot of people around Wrigley Field that take a look at him in his first major league park, getting a few swings and watching him during batting practice. Harry, he hit the ball pretty hard. He looked like he could hit the left-hander, and that's who he's going to face today. He's going to face Lance Dixon, the left-hander that the Cubs drafted #1, and he's still looking for a little consistency. And on the mound for the White Sox, a man that we're all very familiar with, Scott Sanderson, pitching today for the Sox. So it should be an exciting day.
It certainly should be an exciting day, and I think it's to the credit of his charisma. I mean, Michael Jordan's charisma, that they may have around 34,000 people here. Ordinarily, I suspect they've been lucky to get only 15, but the proceeds go to charity. So here's Michael Jordan helping do another great thing.
Well, there's no doubt that every ticket is going to be sold, and Harry, it's going to be quite a day.
And by the way, it's much warmer than it was yesterday. And incidentally, this wasn't, you're going to hear from Michael Jordan in a moment, but to remember when he first reported to Chicago, he was a rookie signed by the Chicago Bulls. He came up into our booth, and we introduced him to the fans, and I was talking to him, and he well remembered it. All right, Dan, it's all yours.
Okay, Harry, thanks very much. By the way, Michael was not scheduled to start this game, but Lance Johnson has come up lame. They reshuffled the outfield configuration for the White Sox this afternoon, and Michael will be the starter in right field, so you'll see him right off the first pitch tonight, this afternoon, I should say, here on WGN. Much more to come in the leadoff man, including Harry's interview with Michael, yet to come, so stay with us.
Experience the beauty and history of
The only superstar on this field by any means. A lot of great baseball players on both sides of town will be featured in the game this afternoon. And Steve Stone and Tom Brenneman caught up with 2 of them before the game. Last night, he'll try to dial it up against the Cubs this afternoon. With the White Sox, had a long tour of duty in this ballpark a few years ago. And he'll be on the mound this afternoon for the White Sox as they take on the Cubs in the Crosstown Classic. Well, the moment you've been waiting for. It's been a media mob scene around here all day long as the fans and the press all clamor to get a glimpse and a word with Michael Jordan. As usual, as he has been the entire spring training, Michael was very accommodating with everybody and had a long interview with our Harry Carey, one you won't want to miss. And here it comes.
Dan, thank you very much. Michael, I want you to know, I've been around this game for 50 years. This is the biggest thrill of my life, just seeing you in a baseball uniform. Because I remember talking to your dad, and he used to tell me how you and he used to go out in the backyard down home, and he'd throw the ball to you, and then you'd get a little bat, and he'd pitch it to you. And now you're trying to fulfill the dream that all of us had as a kid, someday to be a major league ball player. You've been a major league everything else. Now you're trying to be the baseball player you dreamt about.
Well, I think just being given an opportunity is something that I can feel very privileged about. I mean, the White Sox gave me an opportunity just to go out there and see what type of skills I have. And if I ever develop the skills to be up here, then great. If I don't, you know, at least I fulfill the dream, at least trying. And I've had a good time doing that.
Let me ask you about the road trips. Have you been on the bus yet?
Not yet. You know, the road trips are coming up soon, but I'm pretty sure that, you know, once you as a team, you travel as a team, so I will be taking a bus. It may be a nicer bus, but I will be taking a bus.
Michael, I tell you, everybody knows what a tremendous man you are. A real gentleman, a real credit to a community. And one wonders, what if it's tougher than you think? Maybe you can't hit this kind of pitching. Is that going to disturb you any?
No, I think what it does is really gives credibility to the game of baseball as a whole. You know, a lot of people view me as a decent athlete, and yet I'm trying to come out here and show that, you know, I found out that these athletes out here, or these professionals are athletes, and yet it takes a real good talent, exceptionally talented player or person to come out and do this. And you know, I'm really having a good time just even trying, and hopefully I can, you know, get better at it. If I don't succeed, at least I learn a lot about the game, and I can watch it with a little bit better interest.
You know, Michael, already from reading about what you've done in baseball, I've deducted that hitting the baseball is your biggest problem. But let me tell you something. You're no different than anybody else. They all have told me the toughest thing to do in baseball is to hit a good fastball.
It's tough. I mean, because you're back there, you're trying to guess what the pitcher basically, and you're anticipating your rhythm off the pitcher's motions, and a lot of those things come into play that people don't take into account. And one thing that I've found out is that, you know, no matter how good a hitter you are, you need rhythm just to create that hitting ability. And I think that's something that I'm trying to adapt to right now.
If you don't go ahead with baseball, what's next? I know you've tried golf. Everybody knows how great a basketball player you are. Would you ever consider coming back to basketball, or is hockey your next game?
Hockey won't be my next game because I can't skate, so I know that's totally out of it. But you know, after this baseball opportunity, I think I just relaxed and I really enjoy my retirement. I think, you know, just being young enough to even try this, I was very happy that I got this opportunity. But after this, I can't see myself coaching. I can't see myself doing nothing but being a father and being at home quite a bit.
You know, Michael, I found out one thing that you can't do that I can't either, and that is swim.
I can't swim, so you don't have to worry about me, you know, doing any swimming to try to get some recognition. I certainly can't swim.
How in the world did you develop this natural style that means millions and millions of dollars to you on commercials? You do a great commercial.
I don't know how I got that, but, you know, I've been able to utilize it to my best interest. I think it's a part of my mother and my father's personality, and it's kind of been passed down to me. And, you know, I've just been happy that I could come through and do that and have the opportunity to do those things.
Michael, the best of luck. And what a thrill it is for me to see you in the Major League Baseball uniform.
Thanks, Harry. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, Dan, it's all yours.
Couple of Hall of Famers on the floor here at Wrigley Field, getting ready for the Crosstown Classic. The player introductions are underway, and we'll be back with the first pitch here at Wrigley Field in just a moment.
He'll be starting the game. He's batting sixth in the White Sox lineup. Stay with us for all the exciting baseball coming your way in a moment.
This is the first game of the 1938 World Series.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. The Cubs are brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
It's still cold here, but much warmer than it's been.
There's going to be a capacity crowd today, or close to it, to see Michael Jordan and the White Sox take on the Cubs. And it's going to be Lance Dixon going to the mound for the Cubs. He's up from the minor leagues, and Scott Sanderson is going to the mound for the White Sox. You're all familiar with Scott Sanderson. He pitched as a Cub, had some decent years here, had some pretty good years, Harry, when he left here.
You know, I can't help but go back to Michael Jordan. The charisma of this man and the money that he must make on the side. I think it's arguably a question whether Oprah makes more money or Michael makes more money. I'd have to guess Michael would make more money.
Well, I think I'd take either of their paychecks. But Michael Jordan is going to start today, folks, and he's going to be in the number 6 spot in the batting order. And everybody who came to the ballpark today came to see that man you're looking at right there and see if he can indeed hit some major league pitching. Harry, this is his first time in a major league park.
And that's why it's such a thrill for me, knowing how important it must be to him to have a major league uniform and playing in a major league game, even though this doesn't count in the standings. How would you like to be the plate umpire, Dave Cavanaugh? Do you think you'd have the guts to call Michael Jordan out on strikes?
I got a feeling it's going to be a pretty small strike zone when Michael comes up there. I don't think that Mr. Cavanaugh is going to call him out on strikes today.
All right, we'll be back with the play-by-play in a moment. Right, it's first. And Darren Jackson in center. Ventura, Robin Ventura, third. And the star of the day, the world's greatest basketball player, trying to make it in the major leagues as a big league ball player, Michael Jordan in right. Korkovic, the catcher. Guillen, the shortstop. And Scott Sanderson is on the mound. Pepsi presents the Cubs. And here's another guy who hit 2 home runs last night, one of them with the bases loaded.
If Robin Ventura can keep it alive as Michael Jordan comes into the on-deck circle, the fans just roar by his appearance from the dugout. So if Robin Ventura can keep it alive, Michael Jordan will hit in the first inning.
Strike call, a fastball. Robin Ventura, the third baseman. The Cubs drafting ahead of the White Sox a few years ago took a kid named Ty Griffin. Wonder where he is now. While the White Sox drafting behind the Cubs took a third baseman named Robin Ventura, which makes it doubly hard to figure out. The Cubs already had the greatest second baseman in the game in Sandberg, and they had no third baseman.
What was also amazing, Harry, was if you look at Robin Ventura's numbers at Oklahoma State, they were just staggering. I mean, he was the best college hitter in the country for a couple of years. And yet they passed him up, maybe because of his size, but his size doesn't seem to be affecting him too much anymore.
2 balls and the strike. Hot shot, nice play. Here's a race to the bag, Zambrano. Boy, oh boy, there were 3 bullets hit in that inning, but all were fielded. No runs, 1 hit. Finds Hall, Jackson, and Jordan reading from left to right. In the outfield, Ventura, Guillen, Cora, and Thomas on the infield. Korkovic catching, Sanderson pitching. When Michael Jordan trotted out to right field, the jammed bleacher crowd gave him a standing ovation, and they also salamied him the way Dawson used to be greeted out there. And so it's a big day for Michael Jordan indeed. There's Scott Sanderson, 37-year-old right-hander.
He has been around 15 and a half years in the major leagues.
Carey back in the ballpark. They're giving Michael Jordan a standing ovation. We asked him before the game about how he approached hitting.
I'm basically concentrated on the pitch. think about is keep my head in there and swinging that very naturally and try to stick with the fundamentals. But, you know, I can't think about too many things because it really confuses me out there. I'm not really too familiar with, you know, some of the knowledge. I hadn't built habits yet, so I can't think about too many things.
Ball 2. The first pitch by Lance Dixon was inside.
And they booed him.
Ground began booing. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes.
You know, Harry, if he does walk him, they ought to say, "Nah, I don't want to walk him. Let's watch him hit. Let's watch him hit."
I imagine they'll turn him loose on a 3-0 count. They do, and he popped it up on the infield. Under the ball, Zambrano makes the cut. With a count 3-0, Gene Lamont let him hit away if he wanted to. The pitch was right down the middle, and he pops out to Eduardo Zambrano. 1 away.
From the Southwest Plain View camera, we'll take another look at the pop-up. And Michael Jordan had the 3-0 green light, but this ball's out of the strike zone. You can bet that he was a little over-anxious, and he swung at a pitch that would have been ball 4. Probably he would have liked a better at-bat for his first, but he'll get a couple more cracks today.
Here's Korkovice, fine catch of the White Sox. Line drive solidly hit in the left field.